This is the season kickoff of what we are dubbing the KUAM Fantasy Football Fiesta.
Yes.
It's our own village.
Yep.
It's our own municipality.
We got a new Fiesta.
The patron saint is, of course, Tom Brady for Andy Wheeler. Yeah, I am, of course, representing the West Virginia Mountaineers because it's a pro football show and I'm wearing a college jersey. Why? Because I'm an idiot. So let's just work past me. Ken Nicholas is here.
Hey.
Hey, all right, the guy who knows everything about fantasy tactics and strategy. We'll get to his actual record momentarily. And then Joe Cruz, who is a experienced football player, also a massive, massive fan of his hometown Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes, I am.
All right, sorry about Leonard Fournette today.
Oh, no, that's okay. You have him, so.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Well, Fournette was somebody I did not play because of injury, but guys, interesting games today so far.
Yeah, some pretty good ones. You see what happened in Kansas City?
Oh, boy.
Dude, that quarterback situation over there, Mahomes, I mean, he's got 10 touchdowns in the first two games. They went in and put 42 up on the Steelers, so that's obviously a team to watch this year if in the AFC. Look at the Bucks. What is Tampa Bay doing down there? Ryan Fitzpatrick, where did that come from?
Because he's a Harvard man.
Yeah, Ryan Fitzmagic, apparently. So they're playing well.
That dude is ageless. How can somebody be, 35 now and still throw for over 404 scores?
I think with the way he looks, though, he actually kind of looks like McGregor. Have you see him in?
Yep.
I didn't know McGregor was the QB for the Bucks. You know. But
Did you guys see the post-game press conference when he stole Deshaun Jackson's uniform? He was saying, and he put it.
Uniform. It was like some weird track jacket.
Dude, that was sweet. That was really, really nice. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the games that happened today. Then we're going to talk about how we did or did not do very, very well in fantasy. But we're psyched about fantasy. So, Ken, what were some of the things that stood out to you about Week 2 in the NFL?
So, just to preface this, we are not doing pigskin prognostication this year. No more pigskin pickings. This year, we're all about fantasy football. So we got 12 of the best people at fantasy football that we know and put them in a group. So we have Jason, myself, Joe, a couple more people from KUM, and a couple of outside people. And next year, if you think you have what it takes to be a fantasy champ, you can send us your resume. We'll maybe put you in the league. But yeah, our draft was last week. It was pretty good. I think I drafted pretty well. I think Joe drafted a pretty solid team. But Joe and I both lost week 1. And we are actually paired this week.
Yes.
So we're challenging each other this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to gloat just like a little bit, right? Andy's kind of... Your teams are actually doing okay in fantasy, right?
I'm
Middle
not
of the
even playing fantasy. I'm not even doing fantasy. I'm not smart enough.
I've got enough points that we can share. So that's my thing. Okay. Both Ken and Joe drafted exceptionally well. Really, really good drafts class. The way their teams performed this week was kind of like that juice that the Department of Public Works trash trucks leave on the bottom of the road when they come by. Yeah, it's kind of like that. You guys did not do well this week. Even the artificial intelligence that runs our fantasy league was telling me how wonderful I was. So for once, I'm going to dust off the number ones, shoulder number ones, because I am number 1 this week.
Okay, I'm going to get on the pedestal for a little bit here. We're going to talk about that soapbox.
I would love
First
to hear
of all, Joe and I, our game is not over yet. We still have players that are in there. And our teams, for our credit, they actually didn't do bad. We just didn't play the players that did well.
So who did you sit, Ken? Who was on your bench?
I'm waiting for this all day.
So, of course I sat Ben Roethlisberger because, he was hurt. He was hurt. It just seemed like it would make sense to sit him. But, now that I know how fantasy works, I'm never sitting him again. Okay. Joe, how about you?
Oh, man, I sat Kirk Cousins this week. Yeah, and he put up 40 points. The only reason why I sat him is because I got the miracle man himself, Russell Wilson. And, I love Russell, but if they're going to, if he's going to do anything like throw the ball at the 1-yard line, again, stuff like that, yeah, I probably won't, I'll probably end up dropping him soon. But as of right now, Ken's ahead, and we'll see how it goes. Russell hasn't played yet. We won't know till tomorrow.
Okay, so... As for the actual games being played and on the field, Andy, we've got the scoreboard here. Really interesting matchups. Of course, we talked about the day's biggest performers. Ryan Fitzpatrick through the roof. Ken Roethlisberger, who you guys did not play. Outstanding game. Charger.
Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes. Rookie from Texas Tech. Okay, Kansas City loves that kid right now. That dude could get Kansas City barbecue anywhere in the state of Missouri at this point.
Yeah, and coming out of college, he was really, really praised for his arm strength, for his football IQ, they like to say. And then put him with Andy Reid, who's always been a good quarterbacks coach. And I think that's just a recipe for success. And look who he's throwing to. Tyreek Hill, who's one of the fastest dudes in the league. They've got Kareem Hunt, who can run and catch out of the backfield. Then you got Travis Kelce. All three of those guys are going to be fantasy beasts all year, I think. And then you've got Mahomes, who threw 6 touchdowns today.
And they got a really good offensive line.
Yeah, they do. And they've worked that, But Kansas City, we've seen this so many times. They go out to a hot start, 4-0, they're 5-0. And then playoffs later on in the season, they just collapse. So if they can keep this up, man, they're going to be one to watch.
Okay, and for the second week, we have another tie. The Cleveland Browns tied last week. So technically, they have not lost as of last week. But crazy, the Vikings and the Packers.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers was hurt. He had the knee injury. He wasn't 100%. But still, I hate games that play to a tie. And kickers this year suck. A lot.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how many kickers. Do you have any kickers on your team?
Every team we got to start one kicker. So let's see how my kicker did.
It's like there's a few in the league that you can count on. The rest of them are just garbage, apparently.
Interesting that you bring up, Andy, because usually kickers are picked like dead last or like the final 2 rounds of fantasy, but. There is a fantasy guru who among us right now who actually picked a kicker really high.
Really?
Like 3rd pick of the draft.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, so here's my strategy.
No, 3rd round or 3rd in the draft?
2 defenses,
I-
and then he picked a kicker for the 3rd
Here's my
round.
philosophy on and may I remind you, I'm undefeated in fantasy right now. These guys are just, sucking wind at this point, right? So my philosophy has always been everybody always goes for the quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, everybody's always fighting for them. I've always picked a wide receiver first and then a defense. By the way, I've got the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Joe, being from Jacksonville, you lived there for a significant part of your life. Do you say Jacksonville Jaguars or Jaguars?
It's Jaguars. I don't know where the Jaguars came from, but one thing, not only do you have the Jaguars, you also have the Vikings, which is, they got a really solid D too. Do you still have them? Or did you trade them?
No, I've still got them. That is my trade fodder right there. But yeah, I've always picked wide receiver, defense, kicker, because everybody's scrambling for all the quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are going to do well no matter what.
That's why you draft them. That's why you draft them.
And a kicker, you take a kicker like say Sebastian Janikowski on a team that does so. He's gonna get his reps. He's gonna get his attempts. He's gonna hit his field goals. He's gonna produce good solid points. I'm not trying to light anybody up. I'm just trying to get wins. That's always been my philosophy.
So what kicker did you draft? I'm curious.
I got the Buffalo kicker.
I couldn't even name the dude. I don't even know who the Buffalo kicker is.
Yeah.
We're all about points.
Yeah.
We don't know the names. We just know the points per game.
Okay, so apparently everybody is amazed and shocked and surprised that I'm doing so well. Thanks a lot for the vote of confidence, guys. What else was a upset? Had your eyebrows, pointing up toward the heavens that happened this week?
Well, it wasn't really an upset, but the Patriots and Jaguars game. I'm a Pats guy, and
Here we go.
Jacksonville went into that game with such a chip on their shoulder because last year's AFC Championship game that they had to they want to get that respect because they've always been, hey, we're kind of on the cusp, but up until last year, nobody was really taking them seriously because they didn't have that signature win and then getting bounced out of the playoffs like that. So this one, I think they really go in with a chip on their shoulder. They beat New England. Defense played crazy good, held Gronk to like 15 yards. Patriots couldn't get the running game going, so Jacksonville D, look for them to play like that all year long.
And it was an 11-point win. And okay, good thing there's 2 human beings between the 2 of you because this might get ugly. But Joe, how are you feeling about the fact that your Jaguars took out the Pats?
Oh man, I think if for them to take out the Pats, I think it really would set the tone for the rest of their season. That's probably the hardest, out of their regular season games. That's probably their hardest match right now. So, not to say that the other teams are easy, but that was a really big stepping stone to just really get their momentum going, and yeah, especially it was that not the monkey but the refs. those New England
Not the monkey, but the zebra.
Right. Yeah. So that was a good matchup I watched today. What are one of the other ones that are looking pretty good? Today, Colts beat the Redskins. The Redskins, who knows what direction they're going to go.
Welcome back, Andrew Luck.
Yeah, Redskins were looking good, and then kind of faltered. Other than that, the Bucs upsetting the Super Bowl champ Eagles. That's one to watch. I think that was a matchup thing where the Eagles just couldn't cover the Bucs wide receivers. And
Wait,
so,
did Carson Wentz play, or was it still Nick Foles?
I think it's still Nick Foles, yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, we got a good one behind us, guys. We got the Giants struggling to even stay in the game against the Cowboys in Jerry World. We've got some good games next week on the stations of KUAM too. Remember, you can get up early for us and catch the game on KUAM TV 11, and then the Sunday Night Football game on KUAM TV. Next week we have the Steelers, I believe.
Nice. Steelers, I mean, they've got the weapons. That whole thing with Le'Veon Bell, who knows what's going to happen. I don't know if anybody drafted James Conner in their fantasy. He had a great first game. Second game, not so much. So I think he had 30, 50 yards, something like that today. So who knows what direction the Steelers are going to go. Defense, not what it used to be. They're not the steel curtain anymore. They've got a lot of holes there. So obviously you saw that Kansas City lit them up. But fantasy, who are you guys looking? I want to know, Joe and Ken, who's your guy on your fantasy team that you're like, this is going to be my consistent point getter all season long?
Who do you roll with all season?
Then you're actually going to start.
Well, I think I'm going to play Tyreek Hill. Yeah, and then I'm going to put Ben Roethlisberger back on the.
You're probably going to try. You're probably going to try and play Tyreek Evans, who doesn't even play in the NFL. That's a completely different sport.
That's why I picked him. His name's Tyreek, and I wasn't sure, but no, but yeah, I probably will have to play Big Ben, and Tyreek Hill. So.
For me, I'd have to go with my one or two, my number one draft pick or my second draft pick. However, my number one draft pick isn't doing too well right now, and that was OBJ, and he's not even on the board yet. Number two is Christian McCaffrey from the Carolina Panthers.
Ooh, he had a fumble last week too.
Did he? He put up some points this week, so hopefully he can keep up that consistency.
That's what we're here at Sideline. So
yeah,
if you're wondering about the atmosphere that you see here, all these screens and whatnot, come check out Sidelines here in Tamuning, behind Bix and Tamuning.
Yeah, if you know where Bix, this is a fantastic venue right here. Dude, it smells amazing. I wish we could bring you guys smell-o-vision on Facebook Live because the smells coming wafting out of the kitchen are insane.
Yeah, they got a lot of food, the great menu. We were just looking at it. All geared around football, so this is definitely a spot to come and watch a game.
Yeah, the menu actually is on a clipboard, so you feel like a coach.
Yeah, it's really cool. The atmosphere is really nice here. It's got a cool aesthetic to it.
We've actually got some fish tacos that I think are just coming out, so we're going to go wash our hands and get ready for that. So final thoughts, guys, as we close the books, it seems. Well, you got one more game tomorrow. You've got a few more minutes left on this one. What are your final thoughts on week 2?
Week 2, hopefully Russell pulls it off tomorrow. I have Saquon Barkley and OBJ in a couple other leagues. And, there's still 5:45 left. And Ezekiel Elliott just scored. Yeah, there you go. My final thoughts. Yeah.
Well, this is our first year at KUM playing fantasy football. So we are definitely looking for input from you guys. So if you have a sleeper pick or something on waivers that we should pick up, you think Jason or Joe or myself should pick up on waivers, put it in the comments. Let us know who we should pick up. I think that would be cool. And enjoy the rest of the season. We're going to do this every week. So
yeah. Come on over and hang out with us too when we do this. We're on Facebook Live, which means we're not pre-recording this. We're not post-producing it or anything like that. You guys want to come in and give us your thoughts and everything like that? Come back and kick back with us every Monday.
Yeah, it's always a good place to watch a game down here. My first time here. I love it. Pool tables, screens everywhere, good audio system, good food, good drink. So check it out.
Something about blue pool tables always does it for me. The Smurf turf.
You're easy to impress, Jason.
Well, then again, I am doing well in fantasy, so I'm riding high on that right now. Oh, guys, what do you say? We do some fish tacos?
Let's do it.
All right, Fantasy Football Fiesta, that is week 2. We'll see you guys next week live from here, Sidelines in Tamuning. Catch you later.